You ever get the feeling we're watching something born in chaos, but nobody quite remembers who set the match? That's where we are at right now with President Trump's explosive change to the H-1B visa program. A $100,000 fee for new H-1B visas. Let that sink in. It sounds unbelievable. I mean, it is unbelievable, but it's real. Beginning September 21st, 2025, any new H-1B petition filed for a worker outside the United States will require an extra $100,000 supplemental fee. The aim, according to the White House, it's about putting American workers first, discouraging cheap foreign labor, stopping abuse of the program. Great pitch. But here's what nobody's talking about enough. The consequences. Because what's being sold as protectionism might rewrite who builds our tech, who innovates, who stays in this country, and who leaves. Let's start with what is. The H-1B was always a narrow slice of the American labor force. We're talking highly specialized work, computer science, engineering, scientific research. People with bachelor's degrees minimum, half with masters. Median salary for these visa holders in 2024 around $120,000. That's nearly double the US wage for full-time work. And yes, nearly 2/3 of H-1Bs go to computer-related occupations. Names you know: Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Cognizant, Tata, just what you'd expect if you're hiring highly skilled tech labor. Now, what does the new rule do? Here are the basics. Effective for new applications filled after midnight Eastern Time, December 21st. Does not apply to renewals or to people who already hold H-1B visas. Also, not to petitions filed before that date. But huge ambiguity remains. What about travelers currently outside the US? What about change of employer, change of status, things like that? Many are warning these gray areas could become traps. So that's the structure. Now the fallout. First, tech firms are scrambling. Microsoft, Google, Amazon seeking H-1B employees abroad to return quickly. Because if you're stuck outside when you need to re-enter, this could throw your entire ability to work into chaos. Second, Indian IT companies and the Indian government are in panic mode. Why? Because roughly 70+% of H-1B recipients were born in India last fiscal year. China around 12%, all other countries tiny by comparison. Suddenly, this policy doesn't just sting. It threatens lives, careers, and enormous economic ties. Third, stock markets reacted. Indian tech stocks dropped. The NIFTY IT index fell nearly 3%, with several major firms losing over 4%. When regulation or policy shifts hit this hard, it's not just politics. It's capital fleeing risk. Fourth, innovation at risk. Business leaders are warning this could push talent to Canada, UK, EU, China, anywhere with more stable, less punitive entry paths. We need more H-1Bs, not fewer, some are saying. Economists say US growth could dip. Disruption in industries like healthcare, where specialized workers are often foreign trained. Fifth, domestic political game. The $100,000 fee is paired with proposed changes to the selection process. The admin wants to move away from a randomized lottery toward a weighted system favoring high wage levels, specialized occupations, advanced degrees. Essentially, pay or prestige becomes your ticket. So the question becomes, who gets locked out? Who gets chosen? And who pays? Because while big tech may absorb the cost and prestige workers might still find ways in, What about startups? What about smaller companies that depend on H-1B talent but can't afford six figures per applicant? What about people whose fields aren't glamorous but are essential? Healthcare research, education, smaller engineering shops. And what about family separation if travel becomes a risk? Some on Reddit and activist forums are saying this feels designed to freeze people out, especially from India, but also from less privileged foreign-born candidates. They're calling the policy ambiguous, legal challenges inevitable. Some are calling for boycotts of US education or considering Canada or Europe as alternative destinations. Now, here's the kicker. The policy says current visa holders are exempt, but the clarifications only partly dispel the fear. Because travel rules changes employer transfers, they may be caught in the shadows. If you're outside the US, do you risk being stuck? If your status changes, do you trigger the fee? The uncertainty is the point. It's leverage. It's forcing people to make decisions under duress. It's risk. So let's zoom out. What are the broader implications? 1. US competitiveness. For decades, we imported talent, engineers, coders, researchers, because domestic pipelines could not always keep up. Those who came enriched the country, founded companies, taught students, built infrastructure, sparked innovation. If we slam the door, others will build. We'll lose more than we gain. 2. Global perception. US used to be the top destination for top minds. If the visa regime becomes unpredictable, expensive, hostile, overwhelmed with fees, then that perception fades. Universities recruiting international students will suffer. Foreign investment may shift. 3. Diplomatic fallout. India is already signaling deep concern. Stocks falling, equity markets reacting. This policy isn't just domestic law, it's foreign policy. Friends are watching, allies are responding. This feeds into narratives of protectionism, nationalism. Could cost us strategically, maybe. 4. Social equity. The people most affected will likely come from backgrounds where 100,000 isn't trivial. Many H-1B aspirants come from modest origins. Charging this much effectively selects for either wealth or wealthy sponsors, increasing inequality, or making ability to pay a gatekeeper. Now let's examine the arguments in favor. Yes, there are some. Supporters say this will stop abuse, that the lottery system is rigged in favor of companies that treat H-1B like a volume game, that wages for Americans will be protected, that only those with top credentials will get in. So we raise the bar. Some CEOs, Netflix, Reed Hastings, others have said this could create a more merit-based, fewer lottery-based system. Supporters also argued that the administration is trying to close loopholes, that some employers use H-1Bs to undercut local wages, outsourcing, etc. So the fee is a blunt instrument intended to force employers to think twice before hiring from abroad cheaply. There is a case that certain abuses exist, but is a blunt instrument what we want, or is this overkill? I want you to think about this. In politics, every big policy that looks bold enough to grab headlines often has unintended casualties. And those casualties are usually individuals who aren't in places of power. Students, engineers abroad, research assistants. So here's where I land. This policy is being sold as patriotism, putting American workers first. But what it might really be is a reshaping of migration by gatekeeping wealth and prestige. It could decimate a generation of skilled foreign talent coming to the US. It might shift innovation away, not toward us, but to places less hostile. It's possible that the high fee, the ambiguity, the travel uncertainty all combine to dissuade people from applying. And that's the point. If only the people who can afford to pay or the companies who can absorb the risk stay in, everyone else is squeezed out. We should ask, is that by design or by negligence? At a deeper level, is this consistent with the America we want? Are we a nation that welcomes fresh ideas and fresh talent, or are we closing in on ourselves? Are we saying, if you're not wealthy or well connected, don't bother? One final thought before I close. There may be legal battles, challenges under equal protection or due process, industry pushback, perhaps some Congress oversight. But legal remedies are slow, courts are slow, and meanwhile applicants suffer. So for those watching, keep your eyes on how this plays out in practical terms. Ask your tech firms, how are they responding? Are they paying this fee or abandoning foreign hires? Ask your universities, will they lose faculty or students? Ask your state governments, will this push graduates to leave to other countries? Because if we don't ask, the story will get written without us. And what is America if we don't defend the principle that talent, no matter where it comes from, has a place here? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an update. Your support lets me keep bringing you more content just like this. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.